who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. We can commence our afternoon. Good afternoon, members, and I welcome you to this afternoon session. We proceed with our work. Honorable Kisila, what is it?
Madam Speaker, of serious concern, we still don't have quorum. And what is worrying me more, Madam Speaker, is that the whips of this house, the DS and the majority leader have become the whips when that is not their work. The minority whip is not here. Majority whip is not here. Their deputies are not here. And it's a very serious issue, Madam Speaker. So as before we cannot, Madam Speaker, the standing orders are very clear. Standing order number 31 and 32. So, Madam Speaker, I bring to your attention that we don't have a quorum. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I understand we only do not have one member to make it 20, but I'm also aware that we can proceed that way. Perhaps the only thing I will not be able to do is put the question. The law allows, am I not right? No, I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong. Which law are you referring to? Clerk, you are the advisors of the speaker. Is that, am I wrong or am I right? I want to clarify the point that I had raised, that I was right. Speaker is always right. Okay, we have quorum, members. We can commence without any hitch. You want to appeal against the decision of the Speaker?
Madam Speaker, you know, if you say that you are always right, we respect that opinion. But Madam Speaker, if you want to go against the standing orders and we proceed without quorum, it is not right. So I'm just saying that let the rules stand. At least now we have quorum.
This is what the rules say.
What does it say?
That if, and I don't want to dwell on this issue, Mheshimiwa Brian, it can't be that Speaker is wrong. Speaker is always right. What I mean is that the Speaker follows the law to the letter. There's no other strict adherent of these rules than the Speaker. What I said is that whenever there is a niche and there is a niche of quorum and we have a business to transact, the same law says that we can transact, but the Speaker will not put the question. That is what the law says. But now that we are a quorum, we should read the law properly, the standing orders. They are very clear. Yeah, so let's proceed. Brian, we are not going to continue exchanging with you. Yeah, yes, you can clarify at your own point, at your own time. The ruling has been made. Clerk, can we start?
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
At this point, may I invite Honorable Nicholas Nzioka to come forward and make those statements. Proceed, Honorable Nzioka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee met today, 19th March 2024, to prioritize business for the House as forwarded by committees and honorable members pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 151, Suborder 6D. The committee balloted business as follows. Tuesday afternoon, 19th March 2024 at 2:30 p.m. A. Report of Auditor General on receiver of revenue, financial statement for financial year 2021-2022 by the Honorable Philip Ndolo, which is continuation of debate. Wednesday morning, 20th March 2024 at 10 a.m. Report of the Finance and Revenue Collection Committee on inquiry on the state of revenue collection within the county by the Honorable Francis Kitaka. Wednesday afternoon, 20th March 2024 at 2:30 p.m. A. Response to a statement on safety of employees at Golden Africa Kenya Limited by the Honorable Joshua Mwanga. B. Motion on establishment of youth centers and sports incubation centers by the Honorable Anastasia Mutevu. C. Motion on adjournment of the House by the Honorable Nicholas Nzioka. Tuesday morning, 9th April 2024 at 10 a.m. A. Report of Auditor General on the financial statements of Machakos County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2022 by the Honorable Philip Ndolo. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Next order, Clerk.
Order number 8, motion, approval of report of the Auditor General on receiver of revenue financial statements for financial year 2021-2022, continuation of debate interrupted on 21st February 2024 at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, Clerk. At this point, I want to invite Honorable Philip Ndolo, Chairperson, Public Accounts and Investment Committee, to come forward and take us through this motion. Previously, before we left interrupted last time, we had done to the level of the motion had been moved and seconded. Now we were going to have the mover to proceed and highlight on the report. I believe, Honorable Ruth, you are the one holding brief for Honorable Philip. You can proceed, but you'll proceed from highlighting the report. Proceed.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Ruth Wanjiru, standing in for the Chair, Public Accounts and Investments Committee, Honorable Philip Ndolo. With your guidance and permission, I will read just parts of the of the report. The report, this report is the report of the background information, then the observations and recommendations. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Report of the Auditor General on receiver of revenue financial statements for the financial year 2021-2022. The background information. Honorable Speaker, the audit report on financial statements of receiver of revenue for the year ended 30th June 2022 was received in the Assembly on the 22nd May of 2023 pursuant to the Article 229, Sub-Article 7 of the Constitution that states that audit reports shall be submitted to Parliament or the relevant county assembly. It is good to note that the report was received 5 months late, contrary to Section 48, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act 2015 that requires the Auditor General to audit and report on accounts audited 6 months after the end of the fiscal year in question. On receipt of the audit report, it was committed to the Public Accounts and Investments Committee pursuant to Standing Order number 185, Sub-Order 2B and C, and the report is a qualified opinion. This means the financial statements present fairly and comply with the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 and the County Governments Act of 2012. The Committee on Public Accounts, while exercising its mandate as provided in the Standing Order 185, invited the accounting officer and conducted interrogation on the audit report on October 2023. This is as per the provisions of Article 226, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution that provides that the accounting officer of a county public entity is accountable to the county assembly for its financial management. We now move to the committee general observations. Honorable Speaker, after considering the specific queries on misstatement of bank balance and confirmed opening balances and the late submission of the revenue statements, this committee made the following observations. Number 1, that this audit on the receiver of the revenue was the first reporting and the audit circular that was to guide its preparation was received late in the month of September. Section 47, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act requires financial statements to be submitted to the Auditor General 3 months after the end of the fiscal year. That would have been 30th September. B, that there was erroneous posting of figures in the financial statements, which led to the inconsistencies in the figures captured in the statement of financial assets and liabilities compared with the ones in the bank balances. That the statement on receiver of revenue was the first one, and so there was no comparative figures to use in the preparation of the financial statement. However, the statement used to form part of the consolidated financial statements of the county executive, and the particular comparative figures are included in the previous audited financial statement of the county executive. That during the time of audit, the accounting officer did not provide the audited consolidated financial statements to support the source where the comparative figures were cited from. That pursuant to Section 47, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act, the financial statements required under the Constitution, the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, number 18 of 2012, and any other legislation shall be submitted to the Auditor General within 3 months after the end of the fiscal year to which the accounts relate. The financial statements in question were received on 1st February of 2023, 4 months late after the expiry of the statutory timelines. This is in contravention of the above provision of Section 47, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act, and also Section 62, subsection 1C of the same Act, that states that a person shall not, without justification, failed to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act. That the response by the management did not explain the justification for late submission as required under Section 62, subsection 1C of the Public Audit Act of 2015. However, during the interrogation time, the accounting officer provided the justifications leading to late submission of the financial statements as below. 1, that this statement on receiver of revenue was the first one to be received by the executive, and that there were no guidelines from the public sector accounting standards. The guidelines were received a few days to the expiry of submission timelines of 30th September, as stated under Section 47, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act. Hence, there was hardly no sufficient time to prepare the statements. That the CEC Finance was also required to appoint a receiver of revenue as per the same guidelines to sign the prepared statements, and all these constrained by timelines. Committee recommendations. Honorable Speaker, after considering the general observations stated above, the committee made the following recommendations. Number 1, that the Department of Finance should prepare an amendment on the statement on bank balance and correct the misstatements raised in the query using the guidelines provided in the received circular, then forward to the Auditor General for verification. Number 2, that the Department of Finance should also amend the statement on opening balances by incorporating the comparative figures as sourced from the audited consolidated statements of the county executive, then forward the amended statements to the Auditor General for verification and subsequent closure of the query. Number 3, that the accounting officer, for the purposes of future reports, should submit financial statements within the statutory timelines provided under Section 47, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act, in order to enable both the Auditor General and the County Assembly to undertake their legal mandates related to audit reports as provided under Section 48, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act of 2015, and Article 229, subarticle 8 of the Constitution, respectively. That pursuant to the provisions of Section 53, subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act of 2015, the accounting officer should, within 90 days after approval of this report, take the relevant steps to implement the recommendations in this report, or give an explanation in writing to the Assembly why the report is not implemented. Conclusion and acknowledgement. Honorable Speaker, the report on financial statements of receiver of revenue for the year ended 30th June 2022 is a qualified opinion. This implies that the report fairly represents the financial position of the receiver of revenue financial statements in the year in question. It indicates that if the matters raised by the committee are considered, in addition to proper internal controls, compliance and observance of disclosure of information, a positive shift in preparation of good financial statements will be realized. Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Public Accounts and Investments is grateful to your office for facilitating this committee to undertake its mandate. To the County Secretary and County Executive Committee member of the Department of Finance for honoring committee invitation to respond on queries raised. Also to the Office of the Auditor General for the advisory given, and members of the committee and the Secretariat for commitment and effort throughout the process of report writing. It is therefore my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investments Committee to table before this Honorable House the report on financial statements of receiver of revenue for the financial year 2021-2022 for discussion and adoption. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sorry, Madam Speaker, please allow me to read a verse that has been written there from Luke 12:48.
Yes.
That says that to whom much is given, much is expected. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ruth, for that highlight. Now, members, it's time to debate this motion, and I invite all of you to make your contributions. Honorable Helen Detty.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I congratulate my colleague, Mheshimiwa Wanjiru, for a well-written report. Without wasting a lot of time on this report, I think we have all added the irregularities, and the Department of Finance has been given 90 days to correct. So what I would request is the Committee of PAC is to ensure that those irregularities are corrected. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ndeti. More contributions, members. Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think I'll agree with the Honorable Mheshimiwa Helen that the audit query is, the audit report is, the PAC report is in black and white. And it gives the executive some timelines to follow. And I would think that we should give them the schedule so that they report back to the Assembly. Again, I also want to commend them because they seem to be, you know, not the audit query that is, what do I say, that is, I would say they are proposing corrective measures, not like they want to condemn. They are proposing corrective measures, which is what we all need to do so that we promote the good work of the county. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader. Any other contribution? If there are not, okay. Honorable Mwanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to applaud the chair and the committee for bringing such a report. Madam Speaker, the work of auditors is to pinpoint the gray areas and give advice. And as the majority leader said, the leader of majority has said, actually the office concerned should work on the points which were highlighted by the auditor, by the auditor general, so that next time we should not have a repeat of such issues. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Brian Kisila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think we have a lot of reports which are come to the floor of the House. And Madam Speaker, we need the Secretariat of the Assembly to come up with a checklist of how the recommendations which are being given by various committees, timelines of when they can be, the timelines and status of the implementation. For example, we have 90 days here. In the morning we had health. Tomorrow we have finance. Every committee is making very serious, good recommendations. With your ruling, Madam Speaker, how do we ensure that whatever we are doing is being acted on? And how does it come back to the Assembly so that we ensure the executive is implementing what we are telling them to do? It's a kind of a question, and I don't know if you're going to give us guidance on that.
Yes, maybe before I make the ruling, can I ask Honorable Joanna to make his contribution?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also wish to applaud the committee for such a detailed report. Madam Speaker, it is evident from the committee's report and, observations, and also during the interrogation that this audit on the receiver of the revenue was the first reporting. And we are given that, we are told that the circular which was to guide the preparation of such report, being the first of that nature, came late. So that gives us some allowance to give some benefit of doubt. And as also given in the recommendation, Okay, before that, I would also wish to note that during the management responses, there are issues which were raised, and according to what we are reading, some of the responses came late, therefore paving way for the omission of that response maybe contributing to the report being qualified. And therefore, I would ask whoever is concerned to make sure that such responses are done in time, so that we can have a report which actually reflects the real position of the financial reporting of whatever department is reporting. I also seen that there were issues with to do with erroneous posting. That one may have nothing to do with the format which was given in the guideline. So because we have employed competent officers, to me, issues of erroneous posting should be the thing of the past. Otherwise, I want to applaud the committee for the nice report, and as indicated by others, whatever recommendations have been given, they adhere to the timeline so that we can have the amendments forwarded to the auditors in preparation for other better audit reports. We can move from from qualified to unqualified. That one I am sure we can add to that, because we have employed competent people. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable D.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine will be slightly different from the committee, and you can roll it together with what Mheshimiwa Brian has asked. For legal reasons, I don't know whether it is proper for a member of audit to serve in Finance Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable D. Two questions have been put by members. The first one has been put forward by Honorable Brian Kisila concerning what is the process of the resolutions we make here as a house. How do they get to the departments concerned and get implemented? Was that your question? Yes, I have been guided that once we make resolutions, they are here, like we do our debates and we make a resolution at the end of the debates, or a motion has been tabled here. Whatever directives we give at the end of the day, they are communicated to the departments concerned by our secretariat. And once that the report is sent to the departments in the executive, to the concerned committee, to the concerned departments and CECs, of course, who will maybe forward to the CEOs concerned, then within 60 days, for all the other departments, except the PAC, we're supposed to have our resolutions implemented within 60 days. For the PAC, there's an exception, because for the PAC, we give them 90 days to implement on the resolutions we make in this house. So therefore, it is possible for us to track whether the implementation is taking place or it is not taking place. We just need to know that we forwarded the reports or the resolutions this particular day. We give them, and I'm sure even in those reports that are conveyed to the departments concerned, we have the timelines written there. Am I right, Clerk? So it is possible for us to try. We just need to, within 60 days from today, within 60 days, we expect a report to check whether the implementation has taken place. So it is easy to track whatever we are doing. It is now the duty of our secretariat to make sure that implementation is done, conveying of the information concerned is done within the right period of time, and within 60 days we need to expect to see whether implementation has been done. Thank you, members. I think, Honorable Member, you are answered. Now, I invite Honorable Ruth Wanjiru to come and you are, okay, sorry, yeah, Honorable D. Kivuva, you had also asked for whether it is okay for a member of Audit Committee to serve in the Finance Committee, and I've been asked to defer this and respond later, maybe tomorrow, so that we can get proper facts about it. Thank you very much, members. So at this point, I invite Honorable Ruth Wanjiru to come forward. You had a question? Okay.
Madam, since you have answered me, I'm well answered. But also, we have a committee on implementation. We sit in this house. And I think one of the roles of committee of implementation is to follow up all these issues. Madam Speaker, you know, now we have known each other very well. And we have known who competences of each other. It's a high time, Madam Speaker, we start holding each other accountable now.
Correct.
People are not just sitting in committees with their chairmen, vice chairman, and we are not seeing fruits of committees.
I agree with you 100%. So if there is a committee on implementation, that committee is represented here. You should you should now settle down and do your work. It is that committee to give us reports. Am I right, Clerk? Then the committee should do its work. We have the committee here. Do we have representations? Do you know yourselves? That committee, who are the members? Sorry? The members of the committee, I'm talking about implementation committee. Honorable Mutie, Honorable Lloyd, mumepatikana leo. Who else? Who is the chair? Dominic Maida, who is not present today. Members of his committee will give him the report that what this house has given today. Let them do their work and bring us reports. So we are going to be expecting reports. Initially, I used to keep track personally. I was recording in my diary because I'm very strict about timelines. But I think I lost touch somewhere. I am going back to my old operandi's, and I will be able to track it. But meanwhile, let Honorable Maida be told that we have given him work. Let him do his work with his committee. Thank you, members. Yeah, can I now, without more interruption, can I call Honorable Ruth? Come and reply to that information.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, once again. Mine is to thank the members for your input and also to urge us to be attending the sittings, because these reports that we bring to the House, they contain most of the answers that we seek. Let us not be asking for answers outside there. We have the answers in these reports. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ruth. I now put the question that this House adopts the Auditor General's report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on receiver of revenue financial statements for the financial year 2021-2022. As many are of the opinion say ayes. As many are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Okay. The House adjourns to Wednesday, 20th March 2024 at 10 a.m. in the morning. See you tomorrow, members.